Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful stylish agbada you can see right there on the thumbnail and in the video. Okay, so you can see how beautiful this agbada looks right here. So I'm making the outer part of this agbada. You can wear something inside for it. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. Thank you. Start off this tutorial, I'll be making use of 4 yards of organdy fabric. So you can use any fabric of your choice. It can be doll face, it can be organdy. Okay, so but in this class I'm using organdy, not organza. Okay, organdy is a little bit thicker than organza. Okay, or any fabric of your choice that can drape. So this is 4 yards. So the first thing I'm going to do is to open up the yardage part of this. So here is the yardage part of this, and it is by 60 inches. So this is the 60 inches length, and this is the 4 yards of it. So I'll bring in this part and this part and put them together. So if you put it together, you have 2 yards on fold. So this is the folded part. I'm going to pick this folded part again, and I'm going to kiss it with the other folded part, as you can see. So like I said, it's by 60. So once you fold it from the folded part, you'll be having about 30 inches from here. 30 inches. So we are not going to cut out any shoulder slant because this is an agbada, and this part is going to be on fold as I folded it. So just go ahead from this point, go ahead, and this is the center front and center back. I'm going to measure my neck width. My neck width is 3 inches, and the neck depth for the back is 1.5 inches. Neck depth for the front is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to connect my back and my front neck depth. Okay, so we can just do 3 by 3 anyway for the front, 3 inches by 3 inches, because it has an opening too. So 3 by 3 will be okay for it. So I'll just recreate my neck depth for the front to be 3 by 3. Neck depth for the back is 1.5. I'll connect. For the front neck depth is 3 inches. I'll connect. So now I'm going to plot from that 3 inches. I'm going to open up a slit for this dress, and that slit is 3.5 inches. So I just want it to open at 3.5 inches. So by the time I sew, it will get to 4 inches. So after that, I'm going to first cut the back neckline. But before I cut the back neckline, I'll place my tape on the shoulder and take my actual length. So the actual length I'm working with for this particular dress is 62 inches. So here is my 62 inches. I'll add 1 inch for hemming allowance. That is 63 inches. So you just go ahead and take the measurement of the length, actual length where you want this dress to be. So I just go ahead and cut out the excess I have on the agbada dress. So I'll just trim it out. So I have my actual length right now. So we are going to come back to the front of the dress. So like I said, when we placed it on fold, this fabric is by 60. So we are going to have from the center front and center back, we are going to have a total of about 30 inches. You can see that. So what I will do is just to take away the rough edges. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and arrange it very well, just take out the rough edges. So I'll just take it off to the end of the dress. So later I'll continue taking it off. So we'll come back to the neckline and cut. So like I said, we are cutting the back neckline. So the back neckline is 3 by 1.5. So after I've cut it out, the next I will do is to pick this dress here, open it up, because you want to cut out the back. You open it up. So once you open it up, pick it at the center front and separate them. Can you see? So make sure you do this accurately. So while I'm doing this is because we want to separate back and front and cut out the neckline for the front. So I'll just secure it with my pin. So you can see what I have here. So just make sure you secure it with your pin, because this fabric can actually wobble. So this is the point I measured, which I told you is the opening. So I'll just go ahead and cut the neckline this way. So I'll just follow the chalk marking of the front neckline. Okay. So after cutting the front neckline, the next I will do is to come to that point which I measured 3.5, and I'll open it up this way. Can you see? So I just open it a little bit. So after that, the next thing is the facing. So for the facing, I'm going to pick up the fabric. So for the facing, I just cut out a piece of fabric from my organdy. So I'll put it on fold, making sure it lays at the same point. So I'll raise the dress and insert the facing accordingly. So I'll just pin it, making sure they are lined. So I'm going to arrange it to be at the center. So I'll just secure with my pin, because we are going to cut exactly what we have on the neckline of the dress. So I'll secure with my pin. Alright, so after that, I'll just go ahead and follow the shape of the neckline. So I'll follow the shape of the neckline. So once you have gotten the shape of the neckline, you can now take off the facing. So I take off the facing. Now I've gotten the shape of the neckline. So the next, before I take off the pins, please don't forget to open up the slit to the point of the neckline too. So it has to be equal. So I can now take out the dress, the BUBU, and now I'll take the measurements of my facing. So I will use 4 inches from the neckline. So I'll just take it for 4 inches. So it depends on if you want the facing to be big, okay, or if you want it to be small. So but 4 inches is okay, both for hemming the facing and also, so you can see we have the opening here. So after the opening, I'll start my 4 inches down the opening like that. So I'll just use this opening as a guide at 4 inches. So I'll just place it here and measure 4 inches. So once you place, this is what you have. Then I'm going to connect it back, and it comes out, just trace the lines. So that will be the facing. So I'll go ahead and trim off what I have on the facing right away. So here is my facing, and you can see how it looks like. So I'll just bring back the dress and I'm going to place the facing on top of it. So make sure you align it very well. So if you can identify the front piece of this agbada, of this organdy, fine and good, or else it doesn't have front and back. So this is how you are going to pin it. So make sure it relaxes very well before you stitch. So I'll just go over to the machine now. I'm going to start from one end like this, and I'm going to stitch round. Once I get here, I'll take the shape of this opening and return back here and top stitch. So you can see how I stitched it. So after stitching, don't forget to notch. Just notch all around, because this is a curvy or circle stitching. So you need to notch and notch to ease it, so it will be able to turn accordingly. So I'll just notch everywhere. So after doing that, the next is to top stitch on the parts of the facing. So I'll just start my top stitching still from this point. I'll flip all my seams to the part of the facing, and I'm going to sew around. So once I top stitch, it's going to make the facing lay well before I iron. So after top stitching, I went ahead to give it a good press, so you can see what we have right here. So I will advise you go to your serger or weaving machine and weave it. So I'm going to weave it all around. It's better than trying to fold, and top stitch. So I'll just go ahead and weave all around it. Then how are you going to finish it up? Because normally if you are using fabric, you tack, but since we are using organdy and it's transparent, this is what you are going to do. So you turn it to the right side, secure with your pin. Now just go ahead and secure all around. So just pin the facing, although the ironing is already stable, but to keep it more stable and to avoid wobbling or coming out of the neckline, you secure with your pin. Then after you are done securing with your pin, the next we are going to do now is to find a beautiful applique for it. So I'm going to make use of this. So I'm going to place it at a strategic point, so I can just go this way. So anyhow you want, you achieve a better result, go ahead and do that. So I'll just separate my applique. So I'll separate it this way, place one here and place the other here. Okay, I was supposed to cut it here, so I've actually damaged that part. So let me just turn it this way, at least for tutorial purpose you understand what I'm doing. So I'll just give it another different design. So I don't have much of this anyway. So after that, you are going to pin, secure with your pin before you go ahead and stitch. So you can see it's easy this way. So I can go to my machine and stitch around. I can also hand stitch, but please don't use gum. Don't use gum for it. Just go to your machine and gently hand stitch. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just use my pin and pin this part. So after pinning this part, you can still tack a little, just a little tacking, a little stop stitching on the edges to hold the bag in place, or you can also use your applique all around so you have a stable and a perfect neckline. So that is how we come to the end of this tutorial. So the next thing is to fold the edges. You can weave the edges or you can fold the edges, top stitching to hold this part in place, or you can use your applique all around. So we are going to place it on the dress form now for the rest of the drapes. You put it on your client's body, or you can put it on the dress form. Like I said, this is an outer dress, is an AGBADA. You need to wear something inside before you wear this on top. So the first thing we are going to do after putting it and arranging it very, so your sleeve can be as long as you want. You can also be as short. So it all depends on how you want it. So to drape this part, this is the technique. You come to the shoulder, hold onto the shoulder, push it in as much as you want the sleeve to be short or long. So I just want the length of my sleeve to be at the elbow length. So if you want it shorter, you can go ahead and cut it out to your desired length. That is when cutting the dress. So I'll just secure it with my pin. Okay, or you can just go ahead and tack this part. So I'll also do the same the other way. So for the other part, I'll also pick it from the shoulder. So always pick it from the shoulder and then keep pushing the sleeve. Okay. So you just keep pushing the sleeve and make some little adjustments. So make sure what you have on the length of the sleeve is the same. So for me, mine, I want it to be at the elbow line. So I'm going to tack. So when you are tacking, you just lift it up this way and tack. But for me, I'll just use my pins to hold them down this way. Okay, just use your pin and hold it down. So later, you can still give it a good press on this part alone. So this is what we have. So the next we are going to do is to pick the back piece, and you come to the tip of it, So you are going to pick up that tip and cross it over to this other side. Lift up your applique and do what? And secure with your pin. So you can also tack this part. You can see what we have there. Okay, so that's the stylish BUBU. Then you can also take the other tip this way. You can go this way or that way.